And then I see it, and I'm like, oh shit. Okay, I was like, oh shoot.
Nah, you can say.
Shit. I'm gonna say, oh shit. And I get to like keep on shooting. Oh shit. Oh shit.
Welcome back to Pop Pills, the only show brave enough to admit that half of modern sci-fi movies can be summarized as aliens show up and dads deal with it. The white spikes are a bunch of bitches. And today's dose is one of my favorite modern sci-fi chaos experiments. The Tomorrow War. This is the movie where humanity discovers we're about to lose a war against alien monsters. So our master plan is to recruit people from the present and send them 30 years into the future to fight it.
Does it run like on regular unleaded gasoline?
Unfortunately, no. It requires something with a little more kick. Plutonium!
And who gets drafted? Not special forces, not elite soldiers, regular people. Teachers, office workers, guys whose most tactical experience involves loading mulch into a pickup truck. Because apparently when the apocalypse hits, the fate of humanity rests on one demographic: dads in cargo shorts. All right, side effects of today's Pop Pills may include arguing about time travel logic with strangers online, Googling, could a white spike beat a xenomorph at 2 a.m.? You tell me. Suddenly trusting suburban dads with the fate of humanity. And realizing every alien invasion movie eventually turns into therapy with grenades.
All right, and how does that make you feel? Oh God.
The movie opens during the World Cup. Huge crowd, game in full swing, and then suddenly a time portal opens in the middle of the field. Future soldiers drop through. Naturally, everyone assumes it's a very aggressive halftime show. Think Prince, but with machine guns. But then the soldiers start yelling, something that instantly kills the mood. They say they're from 30 years in the future, and humanity is losing a war against alien creatures called white spikes. So, they've come back in time to recruit soldiers, which sounds heroic until you realize who they're recruiting. It is not trained fighters, it's regular civilians. And there's a rule: only people who are already dead before the future war begins can be drafted, which means the government is literally selecting soldiers based on their future death date. Imagine getting that phone call. Good news, sir. According to our records, you die in 2031. So, pack your bag. You're perfect for alien warfare.
Everybody stay calm!
What's the procedure, everyone? What's the procedure?
Stay calm!
The draft lottery begins. Millions of civilians are sent forward in time to fight monsters they've never seen. And the survival rate? About 10%. Which basically means the entire strategy is, let's outsource dying to the past. Now, let's talk about the aliens. The white spikes are one of the nastiest creature designs we've gotten in modern sci-fi. They move like wolves, they swarm like insects, and their mouths open like a Lovecraft nightmare that just discovered caffeine. But the craziest biological detail: their spikes are projectiles. They literally shoot bone spikes like bullets. So, evolution apparently looked at this creature and thought, you know what would help? Built-in machine guns. The famous stairwell scene in the movie is pure horror filmmaking. Dark hallway, no music, just the sound of something moving. And then the alien drops into frame like a spider on Red Bull. The sequence was heavily inspired by aliens. The creature animation team studied wolves, chimpanzees, and praying mantises to build the movement, which basically confirms that nature had already invented nightmare fuel. Hollywood just assembled the parts. Even the scream is creepy. The sound designers built white spike screams using dolphin noises, pig squeals, and slowed down tiger roars. So, the final alien is basically a barnyard horror remix. I wonder if Steve Aoki thought of that. And if one of these things existed in real life, it would weigh around 1,500 pounds, which explains why they move like refrigerators filled with rage. One of the best characters in the movie is Charlie, played by our guest today, Sam Richardson. All right, Sam, welcome to Pop Pills.
Jake, thank you so much for having me.
Dude, I met you, what was it, 2020?
2020, like 2019, 2020.
Dude, right during COVID. It was so weird, but we met on Tomorrow Wars.
Yep, on the set of Tomorrow War in Atlanta.
It was hot.
It was hot.
It was hot. It was steamy. There were aliens.
There were tennis balls, there were guns.
Gary Tours was having emotional and mental breakdowns.
Yep.
Every day. It was so fun, though.
It was a blast.
It was fun between you, Edwin, and Chris.
Mm-hmm.
That was like my boys. I was like, these guys are immediate friendship, and we stayed in contact ever since.
Yep.
First time I've ever got you to come out here, even though you're from Detroit.
I'm from Detroit, but like every time I never had like enough time. This time I was able to like make the plan ahead of time. So I was like, let me carve out the day so I can come first.
Dude, and I appreciate it so much, and like kind of perfect timing, right? This show's brand new. Like I have no subscribers, so obviously I'm just calling in favors from people. When you read this script, did this feel like it was going to be a normal sci-fi action movie, or did you immediately realize you were about to spend several months just pretending to fight nightmare lobsters?
Well, so I read the script. I'd never done like a big action movie before. This is like my first ever. So I was like reading it. I was like, oh, this seems like a lot of fun. And then, I see these little aliens, sure. And then like we jump through time, and then like I'll tell some jokes, and then out. So like I could have never prepared for what I would like encounter. Like seeing, like first of all, going through the training, I was like, oh, okay. I'm like really like learning how to like clear rooms and like run these ARs or like a modified ARs, and like they run these weapons, and then like seeing the animatronic aliens, monsters, my mind was blown, and then to see that then on screen changed my life.
This is like a weird christening into a actual action film, right? So like a lot of guys, they get their first action film and it's going to be like a traditional military style role, right? Jarhead, or and you're like, you're going to learn some stuff, right? But it's not the intensive training that you need. Like, Jarhead, for example, you just need to learn how to be yelled at without crying.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Like, so you're going to go through some boot camp, and we're going to have some real military dudes yell at you until you quit being,
until you stop like flinching so much.
But this completely different.
Completely different.
And like the joke that I've always said when I got the script for Tomorrow Wars was like, this was the first time we went big budget action film, and we basically just had normal everyday dads.
Yep.
Like cargo shorts, pen in your pocket. Like this dude went from fixing a leaky faucet poorly to now we are time traveling.
Time traveling, gun at the ready, fighting the wildest odds. That's the thing, like, because it's like an action movie, but like the people are supposed to be regular folks in like extraordinary circumstances.
Well, and the reason you're in an extraordinary circumstance, as I touched on a little earlier, is because you had to have died at a certain period to even be eligible for this. Yeah. So it's not like, actually it kind of hurts if you're really good, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because you're probably not dead.
Yeah,
you
exactly.
Actually made it.
You probably like had fought through the things, but no, like chances are if you're there, you were offed pretty soon, or you died from some natural causes way before.
What was your favorite film to see or to film?
My favorite film to film was in the stairwell when like,
dude, such a great scene.
It's so great and so much fun. It was so many days of filming. You don't realize that, but like you like a scene that takes in the span of the movie is maybe like 2.5 minutes.
Yeah.
But it was like 3 weeks of shooting in that stairwell. Because we're like you see we're all like kind of like going through the stairwell, and then we see the white spike. It was called the white spikes. We see him, And then like, oh, this gun's ready, and we're all just shooting, and then it starts to shoot the spikes. People are flying back, getting hit, and then I see it, and I'm like, oh shit! I was like, oh shoot!
Nah, you can say.
Oh
whatever.
shit! I'm gonna say, oh shit, and I get to like keep on shooting. Oh shit! Oh shit! I'm like going down the stairwell, shooting this gun, and saying, oh shit, a bunch. That was fun. I had a good time.
I think that was the coolest thing, because watching film it, you're like, man, I can't wait to see what they do with this.
Yeah.
But the no music, the no undertone, the complete quiet.
Just silence, and then like the sound that like classic horror sound where you like just know the monster sound.
Yep.
Chilling.
It was awesome, dude.
I felt like Charlie was going to be the most, because Dan, Chris's character, is like is your lead, and he's who you're following. But he also needed to be like a little bit trained in order to have it be believable that he gets everybody through this thing.
Yep.
But for Charlie, I kind of felt like he was going to be the most like, if an audience member in the movie theater was going to be put in this movie, this is what they would do. So like everything, they're like questioning everything, and like aren't able to do everything as well as everybody. So I kind of like felt that was a great sort of like role to fill. And also, it's kind of me, but I'm not as much of a...
Well, yeah, I mean, wow. Anymore.
Not anymore, exactly, no.
He's trained now.
I'm trained. Sweet!
But it's like one of those
that.
things where like if you are putting yourself in that situation and you're trying to follow this guy, you can't have Chris look at you and go, run across this field, this open field where you know that you're probably going to get attacked.
Yep.
And
Yep.
you just go do it.
Yeah,
Like,
so-
that's,
so,
I'm
like-
not doing that.
No, I'm like, why? No, there's got to be a better way. Like that's what we say. Like he's not a soldier. So like the idea of like him completely giving his like being selfless with his life, like to achieve this goal, that doesn't like weigh into his mind. In the grand scheme of things, he's called upon for this bigger thing. But that's also like Charlie's thing is like in the moment, he's scared and he hides, and that like kind of breaks him down.
Yeah.
And so when he gets a chance to go back, it's like, what would you do if given a second chance at a second chance?
Yes.
You know?
Yes, 100%. So the battle scenes, all of your reactions feel incredibly real.
Yeah.
How much of like when we were in those battle scenes, how much leeway did they give you to just improv that stuff?
I was given a lot of leeway.
Which why wouldn't you, right? You know what you come from.
Yeah, you know.
you are the king of Detroit improv. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. That's very kind. Yeah, like a duke. I'm a duke.
Duke. Okay.
know.
Who's the king then?
Tim Robinson.
Damn it!
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Well, I don't know. I don't know.
We're co-kings. How about that?
Co-kings, there we
we're
go.
two kings. So I got to improvise a lot in that movie. Like there's scenes where we're like getting our rundowns, our very first time like meeting each other, and like we're getting our mission brief and all that, and like I get to like improvise like my reactions and like sort of like my reactions of like seeing Edwin for the first time and like meeting Chris and all these, and everybody's like shut up. I'm like, oh, I get to just kind of like run and improvise. And, I kind of know who the character is, so I can react as them.
Yeah.
It was like Chris, the director, really let me play.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Speaking of Edwin, how badass is that human being?
He's so badass.
Golly, he's a badass.
He's a badass. And so that's the other thing, right? So if it's Chris, Edwin, and me, Chris is the star of the movie. He's a badass.
He's the star of the whole world.
He's the star of the whole world right now. Edwin is like the badass of the movie. So like if Chris is like supposed to be like he's the trained guy, Edwin is the one who's there for fun. He's enjoying killing these things.
He doesn't care if he dies either.
Exactly.
He's like, the world's over. I'm just gonna get mine.
Yep. It's like, those two guys are like badasses. I'm like a regular guy in this. And so there's a scene where we're running, we get out of the stairwell and all this, and we're on the roof of so we're starting to run to this destination because we know like an airstrike's gonna come in. And so like we're running, Edwin is very fast. Chris is also fast. These guys are fit. So like it became like a little bit of a race between the two of them, you know?
Yeah.
And like so like, we're following a camera on a golf cart. So like the idea is like we're running towards the camera, and so like first off, like both of these guys have boots that are like nicer boots, you know? They're like gym shoes. I've got jungle boots on.
Old school military
style, and like we're not in the jungle. We're in Atlanta. We're in Atlanta, running on a freeway. So these guys, so you know, Chris goes, Edwin goes, he goes a little bit faster. Then Chris goes a little bit faster. The camera then goes to me. So I'm like, I gotta stay in the frame. So then I go a little bit faster, but I got this backpack on me. I'm like, you know, it's like winging around on my back, and I'm running. And they say like you can watch in the thing. I'm running, and my quad goes pop. And you can say if you watch it in the thing, maybe not. Well, I don't think in the final movie, but like you can like watching the playback, you can see I'm like running and like as if I got hit. Quad, boom. Because I had had knee surgery before, so I was compensating on that.
Oh,
quad.
dang! And that is the wrong boots to be wearing for
Wrong boots to be wearing. So then I go through rehab, get set, get this leg ready. This kind of reshoot. Had to like reshoot the scene later. About 2 weeks later, maybe 3 weeks later, I'm set. I'm ready to go. Doing that scene again. I'm careful of this leg. I'm like, oh, here we go. Pop, pop, pop. Other one goes, pop.
Dude, no.
The other quad goes, so I'm in big trouble. So some of these scenes you can see, I'm like running like this. It's because I'm on 2 busted quads in that.
Dude, no way. Well, I mean, that leads me to though, like the equipment you guys were carrying we used real freaking equipment.
Real equipment.
Some of the guys we did all the body armor, and like we never told anyone which was getting which.
Yeah.
And so like, you know, body armor plate, it's, you know, there's a front and a back, and there's it slides up in. And for a lot of people, we would put these like cardboard hard plates, so because you can't just give someone a carrier because then all
like
floppy.
Flop. Yeah.
So like half of you got the cardboard plates and half of you got real plates.
Yep.
How heavy was all that gear you guys were carrying?
I think I had real plates for
Probably.
sure. I did, and it was heavy because I had you know a plate carrier, and then I think front and back. Because then I also had a backpack that had like gear in it. Because I was also the person who like all the stuff they took, they put it in the
You were
thing.
Kevin Hart from Jumanji.
I was Kevin Hart from exactly. I was Sherpa, and I had a rocket launcher in there. I don't know if the rocket. No, that's I think, but I had a rocket launcher in there as well. So I'm like, I'm weighted up. I'm like Goku training before he like takes off his stuff, and then like or Rock Lee.
When it's
two anime
only
references.
like 95 degrees.
Yeah, exactly.
Sun beating down and on asphalt all the time.
Ooh,
dude, it was brutal. But
reflecting.
that's also the part of the movie magic that people come at, because they just assume like everything is rubbers, everything is light. The issue is if you do that all the time, you don't look real. Like you don't look like you're actually struggling.
Yeah.
So we want to make you guys struggle.
And we did.
And you did. And it turned out fantastic on screen.
Yep.
So when you're filming the alien scenes, right? There were some animatronics, but that was very rarely what was used.
Very rare. There were like 3 things. Like sometimes you'd have the animatronics, sometimes it'd be a tennis ball.
Yes.
And then sometimes it'd be a very tall guy in like a white bodysuit with then like a...
Yes. Which was the weirdest to film with?
The guy.
The guy?
The guy. Because you're trying not to look at his face, but you're like, hey.
Steve, stop looking at me
Stop
that
looking
way.
at me. But I guess you got to look at me so I know that the thing's looking at me. Yeah, that was...
But people never realize like how much goes into the CGI parts of those. And like, yes, would you love to have... And those animatronic aliens were sick.
Sick.
They were so cool.
They were, yeah.
Dude, we haven't even got to say anything about JK.
I know, we haven't.
How badass is that human being,
So
man?
bad.
He got so jacked.
He got so jacked, and like his like sleeveless, and like his arms like boom, and he shoots that range gun, that big.
Yep, dude, 3.3. So that gun, we talk about it in this episode.
Yeah.
That gun, I mean, there's only like 2 of them on the planet, right?
Yeah.
It's an AR-15 platform that shoots 338 Lapua rounds, and I have one here.
Yeah.
And Chris has the other one. So
Fantastic.
when you're the lead, you get to
have
have what
you
you
get
want.
to have it.
But dude, so much freaking fun, man. Like JK Simmons was the like golden nugget on top for me in this film, where you're like,
Yep.
I read the casting, I was like, okay, he'll be a really cool grandpa. Like,
Yeah,
he's
right.
gonna. And then he was like everyone's favorite murder grandpa.
Yes.
And then he goes on to play like murder Santa Claus later. It
Yeah.
like worked out perfectly.
worked
His
out
body transformation
perfectly.
just keeps going.
Yeah.
So, all right. So the white spikes are here in real life.
Okay.
What's your personal Sam Richardson survival strategy? What are you doing?
My personal survival strategy. Okay.
You faced him once.
I faced him once. I kind of know the underside of the belly, like a little weak there. I am trying to get something I'm high caliber, long range is my guess. And then I'm also trying to get height.
Yeah.
Something, because and mind you, they climb.
They do. They climb pretty good.
They climb pretty good, but on a straight shot, I'm never gonna win.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get high and far, and
long distance.
And I'm setting up traps like Home Alone.
Rewatch. This wasn't a one and done sci-fi film like a lot of the stuff we're getting right now.
Yeah.
Like people were actually on the internet debating me and fighting with me about the choices that we made. Like people were watching this and actually paying attention.
Yeah. I'll tell you when it really like hit me was I was walking around in Boston, maybe like a year after it came out, maybe a little bit, and like guys was like, "Oh, dude, from Toronto." I was like, "Whoa, this is like on the street recognized." Like for Veep, I used to get recognized for Veep, in fact, it would always be at the Apple store. It'd always be like
oh yeah,
it'd be like, "Hey," and like in Detroiters in Detroit, it'd be like, "Hey," but just a random in Boston on the street, guy was like, "Yes," and I was like, "Whoa, people watch this movie."
Oh yeah, dude.
The dream, and like I am so curious because this is like one of the first movies that was a streaming exclusive.
Yep.
Because anyway, originally it was meant to be in big theaters.
It was
all like
theatrical.
It's theatrical, and then so I'm always curious what that would have been like. But for it to like have such a big impact, 4th of July weekend movie, but like at home.
Yeah. The crazy thing is, I don't know if you even know this, the theatrical version still exists.
Does it?
Yeah. So when the film got finished, it obviously was actually meant for theaters. So there is a full theatrical version that was actually sound staged and everything at Warner Brothers. It was ready to go.
Oh, wow.
It was like Amazon even was behind, like, hey, we're going to go to the theaters.
Yeah.
COVID. Boom. Changed everything.
Sign a petition, make a petition, bring it to theaters.
To the theater. Dude, it would change everything. And I know that it's still, you don't just throw those files away. They're out there.
Yeah.
They still. Matchbox is coming out in October.
Matchbox in October. And then, things float and things come along. Just always kind of check in with me.
Oh, we absolutely will, man. All right, last question, and then we're going to let you go.
Yeah.
Improv battle. You or Michael Scott?
Oh my God. Well, he's always got a gun, so I'm always afraid of him.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for understanding the assignment. And dude, Sam Richardson, literally a improv comedy legend, Detroit legend. You can catch him at the Lions, the Tigers, the Bears, oh my. Here in Detroit anytime. Dude, come by anytime you want, man. You know we love to have you. And we'll start the petition. Go below. Tell us if you want Tomorrow Wars 2 and the theatrical release. Snyder Cut, baby.
Yeah, right. That's right.
Pop pills. We'll catch you next time.
Here's where things get personal for me, because the weapons in this movie weren't just random sci-fi props. Through our company, Toothwalker Co., we had the opportunity to work alongside legendary prop master Gary Tours and the crew at Extreme Props. These guys are some of the best prop engineers in the industry. They don't just make props that look cool, they build equipment actors can actually train with. The design philosophy for the movie was simple: near future realism. Not laser guns, not Star Wars blasters. Instead, the idea was to take modern military rifles and evolve them forward a decade or two. Heavier barrels, reinforced rails, aggressive muzzle brakes, stocks and foregrips that look futuristic but are available today. Because if you're fighting alien monsters that can tear through concrete, your rifle should look like it was designed by someone who hates recoil and loves overkill. Every time people see the rifles in this movie, there's always that one guy that pops up online and says, "Those are just 5.56 rifles, that wouldn't work on aliens." Right, because the part of the movie that broke your suspension of disbelief was the ammunition, not the time portal, not the alien invasion, not the screaming bone spike monsters, the bullets we used. Also, this war takes place 30 years in the future. You don't think humanity might have invented slightly better ammo by then? I promise you, the Pentagon has already spent $11 billion developing a bullet that can punch through a Prius. So, this movie didn't start life as streaming content. It started life as a giant theatrical spectacle that just happened to land in your living room. And that Iceland scene in the third act, those were shot on real glacier environments because McKay wanted the ending to feel grounded instead of overly green screened, which meant the cast spent days filming in brutal cold, wearing heavy gear, because apparently saving humanity also requires frostbite. The overdose. So, what is the Tomorrow War really? It's part alien invasion movie, part time travel story, and secretly, it's a movie about dads trying to fix mistakes. It's Starship Troopers with feelings. It's aliens with daddy issues. And the only sci-fi movie where the fate of humanity depends on a biology teacher with unresolved emotional issues. And honestly, that might be the most realistic part. Join us next time on Pop Pills, where we keep asking the important questions like, why do alien invasions always seem to start in America? And why do dads in cargo shorts keep saving the world? Pop Pills! Your prescription for pop culture.